According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 16 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. The state opposes your application, and there's to be no contact with the complainant in Chapter 62 registration. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Educational background you have.
Yes, ma'am. I received a bachelor's degree in arts for interdisciplinary studies to teach between the 4th and 8th grade.
And were you teaching children?
Yes, ma'am. 4th grade math.
Okay, where?
At BASIS.
Okay, could you explain to the court what BASIS is?
BASIS is the private school that allows us as individuals to work more with the parents as opposed to the administration, keeping them in content with our lesson plans and our pedagogy.
And how long did you work there?
Approximately 1 year.
And what did you do before that?
Before that, I was working in a call center environment for SMI Incorporated.
Okay. And do you have a military service history record?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And which branch of the military is that with?
United States Air Force.
Okay. And when were you in the Air Force?
I was in the Air Force between 99 and 2004.
Okay. And Mr. Guerra, you understand that we have pled to this case and that this is the sentencing hearing. You understand that, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this was a decision that we made based on everything that was presented to you as potential evidence, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a potential outcome if we had a jury trial, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this is the decision that you came to, a difficult decision, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Mr. Guerra, you have a bit of a criminal history.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell the court what you have a criminal history for.
In 1997, we were a part of a group where an individual was caught shoplifting, and the security felt at that time it being split over all of us versus the one individual was more important to them than taking us into consideration, that we had no idea that the individual who was shoplifting was doing what he was doing. After that, I received a DWI after a Christmas party. I went home, and because of my problem with alcohol, Amy kicked me out of the house, so I left. And at that moment, I got pulled over by a police officer and received the DWI, or the blocking of highway traffic.
And did you plead guilty or no contest to that case?
No contest to that case.
And were you placed on probation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And as you've heard, the prosecutor has information that you have continued to drink even though you were on probation for DWI.
Yes, ma'am. I provided that information.
And Mr. Guerra, your two boys, tell the court how you are involved with your two boys.
I am 100% devoted to them. As far as what my oldest goes, he is a musician, so constantly working with him with what it is that he needs to succeed in the future. Even though he jumps from instrument to instrument to instrument, I'm 100% in support with that.
All right, and
well.
counsel, what I want addressed is the question that the state asked about Mr. Guerra, if it's true, allowing his son to blow in the toxilizer for him, and also with regards to the text messages and the stipulations where it says that Ethan was drinking Blue Moon or something of that nature.
Okay, Judge. Mr. Guerra, so specifically the court wants to know, did you provide alcohol to Ethan or this other child at any time?
Not to Ethan, to the other child, yes. The other child had asked if I could purchase it for her because she was leaving and wanted to go hang out with some friends of hers.
And did you drink also?
Yes, before we even left, my son had asked if I could take him to see his ex-girlfriend at the time. to say goodbye to her, and I had let him know that I had just finished a beer, and I wouldn't be able to take him because I would have to blow in the blower. He let me know that he would do that if he could see her one last time, and I told him, okay. I wanted to be the cool dad and just let him see his ex one last time. And so he went ahead and he did that.
And that was captured on camera, correct?
That is correct.
But on one of the, because I always read, counsel, you know, I always reread everything. But on one of these text message, it says, defendant responds, victim tells him she is drinking MD, Mad Dog. Defendants asked victim what she got him, and victim said he should have told her and she would have. Then it says, defendant stated, I'm here with the boys and drinking. Ethan's on that blue moon trip.
What does that mean?
That I don't know.
And counsel, I don't know if you want to show it to him. It's here.
Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like the content.
And that's a part of the steps.
Right here. Court wants to know what that's referring to.
And if he doesn't know, I mean, he doesn't know.
So you don't know what that's referring to?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's counsel. All right, you may continue.
Thanks. Are you involved with your children's sports?
I am
Are you involved with your children's school?
education first before sports. We are in constant contact with his teachers to let them know that we're there to support teachers 100%. If in the event that they are lacking in classes, they need to notify us at all possible so we can help them succeed in the classroom as well as outside of the classroom.
And are you involved with your mom?
Very much.
And what do you do for your mom?
Pretty much I'm the person who does everything for her. She's at that age now to where my father's not able to help out as much as possible. And my youngest sister, who used to be a part of the back and forth, has recently taken on the responsibility of my nieces from my middle sister who was taken from us. And so she is not capable of taking care of my mom as much as we both used to. So my mom depends more on me than anybody else.
And Mr. Guerra, the court is going to be interested in knowing about these text message exchanges with this child.
I've repeated it to my attorney, but I never messaged this little girl any of these messages, and that is still something that I fought tooth and nail on. But we're here because of the fact that everything else shines a light as me being the person who did that.
Well, I mean, let's not talk in third parties. Either you're saying you did this or you did not. I mean, that's what we're here for. I mean, if you want a jury trial today, we'll give you a jury trial today. But what you're here for is what the allegations are in the indictment.
I understand what the allegations are in the indictment, but I don't think a jury trial would help me in any way.
Okay.
We'll pass the witness, Judge.
Any questions?
Just a couple, Judge.
Okay.
Very brief. So you're telling this court, as part of which were contained in the stipulations of evidence, that you didn't message her, I quote, "You down to fuck, my dick is dry again."
That is correct. The only message that I sent to her was after she messaged me saying, "I'm sorry," and I said, "For what? Did you mean to send that to Ethan?" That was the only message that I saw, and that was the only message that I responded to.
So you understand that we got these records from Instagram, right?
That is correct.
Right? from your Facebook profile or your Instagram profile.
That is correct.
Okay.
I understand that.
And that also says, let me know, I'll be happy to cream all inside you. You didn't say that either?
That is correct.
And that at one point you messaged that you're on the way. Did you read that message?
I read all the messages that were on there. The only one that I was aware of was when she said, I'm sorry. And I said, for what? Did you mean to send this to Ethan?
And you're aware also, and I'm sure you are, and as you stated, that you were on bond for an intoxicated related offense and you had an intoxilizer in your car, correct?
That is correct.
And in those records that we provided to defense and you, that I'm on the way coincides with the time around where that breath, where Ethan took the breath into the intoxilizer, right?
No.
Okay.
The timing that Ethan and I went was between 6 and 7.
Okay. So you're saying it doesn't coincide.
That is correct.
And you're aware that the intoxilizer also contained your GPS coordinates, right?
That is correct.
And lines up with what the victim says about what time approximately you were there.
My son and I were together. My son sat in the front seat. She sat in the back seat. And again, the only communication that I had was, did you mean to send this to Ethan?
Okay. So it seems like you have an excuse for all of your criminal history. So your theft in 97, and that one, I didn't steal anything, right? I was just there. I just am a victim of being present, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're not guilty of that one, even though you pled to it. And then you're obstructed of a highway by intoxication. In that one, you're saying, well, my wife kicked me out. I had to drive. That's why
No,
you picked it up.
I am guilty of that.
Okay. But you make sure to say that Amy kicked you out, and then as soon as you're leaving, that's when you get pulled over.
I provided the story.
You have an excuse for basically all your criminal history is one. How did you meet Evan?
The first son that I had met her, Ethan had invited her over to the house so they could hang out. That was just a brief hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then they hung out in the living room area.
But you met Evan through Ethan, right?
Yes, sir.
And you communicated pretty frequently with Evan, both or mostly through Instagram direct messaging, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so you never talked about being like a mentor for him or anything like that?
That was in person. That was the second time that I had met Evan. She was suspended from school for an altercation that she had with other students. And as I was picking up my son for a doctor's appointment, I crossed paths with her and I met her mom for the first time. At that situation, I'd let them know that I had been working with Ethan, and not only Ethan, but other kids at the basis who were going through separation anxiety.
Okay, so you continue to try to serve as mentors for youth who are troubled.
Not necessarily troubled,
Okay. Who are going through issues.
who are going through issues that are affecting them in the classroom, yes.
Okay. So that conversation you did have with Evan's mother in person.
Yes, that I had been working with the kids in my classroom as well as with Ethan regarding separation anxiety.
All right, any other questions?
No, no further questions.
Any follow-up?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any other witnesses?
I do not. I would like to let the court know that there are other individuals here supporting Mr. Guerra, but their testimony would be cumulative at this point. But
All
he
right,
does have
if
others.
you would, who are the other persons?
Well, there also have some letters there, so I feel like they're well represented.
All right, thank you. All right, the court will hear brief argument. State?
Judge, we're asking, number one, that you deny his application. It's clear from the record that he's not a good probation candidate, regardless of what this offense is. He's demonstrated to this court that he can comply with not drinking while on probation, while had multiple violations, while on bond, even in this court. So that in and of itself, that should be enough to deny his application. for deferred. But the facts of this case are egregious in the sense of this individual perpetrated on an vulnerable individual. As you see in the indictment, it's listed as an AKA, is because the victim in this case is transgender. And as the court is well aware, transgendered individuals, especially transgendered youth, deal with a whole train full of stupidity coming their way. They have struggles already in their life. And this individual used that vulnerability of this victim to perpetrate on them. The facts are clear. He doesn't want to take responsibility for any of his actions. There's an excuse for everything. Mercy should be given to those who want to atone for what they did. That's not what he's here for. He's here to ask this court to give him a break because that's what he's just used to. He wants a break. We're asking that you deny his application and that you sentence him to the full 16 years because he deserves every bit of that time, and Evan deserves every bit of that time to feel safe from this individual. So we're asking again that you deny his application, you sentence him to the full 16 years.
All right.
Judge, briefly, I know the court's heard quite a bit. This is a delicate situation. It is a situation in which, upon review of all the evidence, Mr. Guerra felt that this plea was in his best interest. But make no mistake, he is definitely asking the court to grant him the deferred adjudication probation. I don't think anyone would be served by him going to prison for 16 years. I think that what Mr. Villarreal is representing to the court, I don't believe that's completely accurate. I believe this individual was transitioning after these events, was not preyed upon because of what they are going through. This is a situation that Mr. Guerra got himself into, and I think that his family sort of relayed to you that he wants to be the cool dad, and it causes him to make some very egregious decisions. However, I do believe that he does have the family support. He has an excellent educational background. He is employed, as the court can see. This is an individual that will do well on probation. Any conditions that the court would like to put on this individual, he is going to be willing to do, and his family is going to be willing to assist him in successfully completing those. Any classes, any community service, any conditions. I know the court is fond of 90 meetings in 90 days, anything like that. This individual is going to successfully complete that.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Guerra, I want to let you know that I listened to everything that everyone has said. I've read all the letters that your counsel has presented. I listened to all the witnesses that were called, and I always internalize everything that I'm hearing from all parties because I always do my best to hopefully make the correct decisions. All right, in this case, I'm going to deny your application, find you guilty as charged of aggravated sexual assault of a child. There's to be no contact with the complainant in this case. Chapter 62 registration, $1,500 fine, time and money will run concurrent. And I'll sentence you to the 16 years. Did you review the document entitled trial court certification with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes,
All right.
And Judge,